This is James Mustich's 1,000 Books to Read Before You Die, published in 2018 by Workman. This is a very bulky hardcover book, which is quite dense. So starting off with this book, we'll look at the dust cover, which is already very lovely, as you can tell. It has this nice glossy appearance to the letters, which make them stand out and give them a bit of texture as you run your hands over them. The dust cover material itself feels very premium compared to other dust covers. Dust covers which usually use this cheap plastic material that wears very easily. This one has a very nice, still plastic, but it feels much denser. It feels very thick. It feels like it's going to last a long time. And the cover, I do like the design. You can see it has the appearance of a book with all of the pages here. And I do like the stylization of the slanted words. The spine stands out very well. It uses a bunch of different colors. Red for the author, then yellow, red, blue, green, white. A 1,000 Before You Die book. I'm not sure what the other 1,000 Before You Die books are, but I would definitely be interested in seeing them. And the publisher's name, Workman. And then the back is your very standard dust cover with a little barcode at the bottom. This book is $35 retail. And we have a little blurb that tells you about what this book is about. But it is pretty obvious from the title. The end papers are this lovely fake marbling with the title printed in the middle, which I think is quite odd, but kind of unique. I've never seen the title of a book printed directly onto the end papers. They do look pretty nice, though. One thing I did forget to mention is that taking off the dust cover, this is what it looks like. And these are what the flaps look like. We just have an explanation of what goes on in the book. They have that same nice texture. And another explanation. Workman Publishing, printed in China. And you can see on the back of the front cover, the stamping done left an imprint on the back, so you can tell that it is definitely permanent and not something that's going to rub off. The book itself is this very, very nice cloth. I don't know what they used to bind this book, but it is amazing feeling. It's probably some cheap cloth or buckram, but it feels incredibly nice. And it's got a wonderful texture. It's also in this very lovely blue color. On the spine, we have everything that was put on the dust cover spine, but now it's gilded in, and I think it looks very nice. And you can tell it's actually stamped down a little bit. So even if the gold rubs off, I'm not sure if it can or not, but you'll still have a stamping underneath. And the back cover is blank once again. The end papers we've already discussed. And they're about what you would expect. They're this cardstock material. There's the title. All of the publishing information. This is the first printing, I'm pretty sure, because it says first printing September 2018. I don't know if it's just telling me that or if that means this is the first printing, but I think it is, which is pretty interesting. I have a quote from Virginia Woolf. A lot of dedications. And a very comprehensive list of contents. So we have an introduction. And then instead of telling us the name of every author in this book here, it simply gives us a blank to blank. A little introduction. I like the two tones of ink. And by the way, the paper this is printed on is very nice. It's this very lovely thin marble white paper. Sorry, not marble white. It's a, how do you put it? I guess it is a marble white. but it's a beautifully white paper. There's no discoloration at all, no yellowing, so it looks very nice. And there's a lot of color throughout this entire book. We start off with ABC in these big bold letters, and it begins with A. And you can see the entire book is completely packed with these pictures that explain different things, pictures of things related to the books, related to the authors, sometimes pictures of the original covers. And not all, but quite a lot of the books have a picture included with them. Some of them even have two. And I'm not going to go through this entire book, but you can see that it is very comprehensive. There's a lot of interesting stuff in here. I saw him. Where is he? Here's Dickens. They give you a lot of suggestions for Dickens. Holy crap. So David Copperfield, Oliver Twist, Nicholas Nickleby, A Christmas Carol, Dombey and Son, Bleak House, A Tale of Two Cities, Great Expectations. Holy crap. He might have the most books out of any author in this giant collection. Fyodor Dostoevsky. I always manage to butcher his last name, so I had to take my time. The Brothers Karamazov, Crime and Punishment, Notes from Underground. A lot of books that most people would recognize, but then also a lot of books that I've never heard of. And there are hundreds of those books. Three Musketeers, Count of Monte Cristo. As you can see, there are many, many, many pictures throughout this entire book. The Road by Cormac McCarthy, I've heard is good. Herman Melville, Moby Dick. There's actually a full-page illustration here. Well, not an illustration, but a reused photo. A Midsummer's Night Dream. Oh, this is Shakespeare. Here we go. William Shakespeare. Romeo and Juliet. Julius Caesar. A Midsummer Night's Dream. The Sonnets. The Henriade. Richard II. Henry IV Part 1. Henry IV Part 2. Henry V. Oh my goodness. Hamlet. Othello. He definitely has the most works. King Lear, Macbeth, The Tempest. And that's the end of Shakespeare. Wow. There's Frankenstein. Leaves of Grass by Walt Whitman. Here's Mark Twain with Adventures of Huckleberry Finn. Tom Sawyer. Letters from the Earth. And then here are the final letters. Let's see who the last person in this book is. Germinal by Emile Zola. Oh, A Part of Myself by Carl Zuckmayer. And that ends the list of 1,000 books to read before you die. We have some acknowledgements. Miscellany of special lists. That's a new word I've never heard before. So these must be extra books to read before you die, past the 1,000. This is like the bonus content, DLC side quest stuff. I'll have a short look through these. The Wind in the Willows I recognize. There's Roald Dahl. In Search of Lost Time by Marcel Proust. Les Miserables. The Magic Mountain. Well, I'm surprised that Les Miserables and The Magic Mountain are not included. War and Peace. What the heck? No, that has to be included. Tolstoy. TLMNOPQRST. Okay, so they are included in here. Leo Tolstoy. We have War and Peace, Anna Karenina. The Death of Ivan Ilyich. I don't know exactly how to say that. So these lists are not books that are excluded from the book, but they must just be extra lists. 84 Charing Cross Road, I do recognize that. Candide by Voltaire, I hope I said that right. Wind in the Willows, Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. So these are some comedy books over here. Comedic, not comedy. Oh, wow. You could spend many hours looking through this book and still not see half of it. And then we have the index of books and authors. So as I said at the beginning, the table of contents only shows you the blank to blank of the authors. It doesn't show you all of them. This right here does show you every single author in this book in case you want to search up a specific name to see if it's included without flipping through the entire book. And this is a huge index. And then at the back, we have my favorite part. Once we get to the end of this index, what has to be my favorite part of the entire book is the checklist. It gives you a little checklist of every single book, which I think is incredible. And I'm glad that I bought this book used at a half-price books, and I'm very glad that none of these were crossed off yet. So this book is effectively completely new. Beautiful. And then we have some extra credits and permissions at the end, and those same lovely end papers, but without the title. Are they different design than the front? No, they're the same design. But that's all for this book. This is a very incredible book, and I would say that it is well worth the retail cost of $35 because it is very well made. It sits open very well. I believe that is a sewn binding. It definitely seems like it. As you can see, there are definitely signatures there. And you can see the puncture holes in between the pages. So it's a sewn binding, bound in this wonderful feeling cloth with a very premium dust cover. And the content, of course, is absolutely incredible. So this is a well-made labor of love book. And if you can get it for the retail cost, sorry, I butchered that. If you can get it for the retail cost, I highly suggest it. And if you can buy it for less, then I suggest it even more. Thank you very much.